Hey guys, it's that time of year where there's a bunch of sales going on, Black Friday sales, Christmas sales, whatever. There's a lot of sales going on. So what I thought I'd do is I'd show you the tools that I use when I'm doing installations, and that way, if you uh, are interested in getting some of these tools so you can do your install or maintain your boat or whatever, I'll give you the links. I'm going to put the links in the description. They are Amazon affiliate links. I appreciate it that if you purchase through those links. That way you can help support the channel. So let's get into this thing. So let's look into my first drawer here, which is my main drawer. Okay, hopefully you can see it. So my number one tool is this pair of crimpers. This is the Anchor crimper. It's a ratcheting crimper. You can hear the ratchets going on, and it's used specifically for those waterproof Anchor or anchor connectors. Okay, and those are the only ones I use in boats. Okay, what makes these a little bit different than the others? You can find Klein versions. You can find other versions of these. This has the smaller version, which is a 1822. It has a 1416, which is the blue. It has a 1012, which is the yellow, but it also has an 8 gauge. Okay, all my power runs are 8 gauge, so I needed this one specifically for the 8 gauge. Okay, comes in two varieties, one without the 8 and one with the 8. This is the best crimper I've found. Okay, this thing has lasted all these tools I'm showing you. Basically, have been using these things for 6-7 years straight, and they're holding up really well. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell you about them. Okay. So the next tool I've got is the wire strippers I've got. This is the Klein stripper. Okay, it doesn't do the 8 gauge, unfortunately. It does, hang on, let me see. I'm pretty sure it does it does 10 gauge. So I don't know if you can see that in there or not. So it does 10 gauge. Okay, but what you do is you just put your wire in there, put the length you need in the connector, and just compress it, and you're done. Okay, and it pulls the insulation away from the wire. These are really, really good. Okay, so let's keep along here. When you get into your power cables for the Lowrance units, for other units like the active target modules, things like that, sometimes you have to strip the wire back. I use this stripper here, which is the Gennard tools. This is the model. I'll try to find a link for this for you in the description. All you do is you put your wire into it and you rotate it around and you peel the wire back and then you pull the insulation off. Okay, that's a really good tool for the larger size wire. Okay, this is another one I've used. I don't know if I'll be able to find a link for this for you or not. This is one that I got, I want to say 25 years ago when I was running the house, doing the house here, and it does the strips. It's perfect for doing the insulation. I've got it adjusted so it's set up to do the active target module cables and also to do the Lowrance power cord cables. Okay, so that's another good tool. Another tool you want to look at, and this is if you have to do any power leads. Okay, and power lead, let me open it up for you. Power leads are a little bit different because they're huge. And generally you're talking 6 gauge or larger. Okay, so you're going to use this pair of pliers here. I'm not going to pull it out of the case for you, but there it is. It's pretty much a compression. It's adjustable for each crimp size. Okay, but the nice thing about this kit, it also includes a very large wire cutter. This wire cutter I use a lot for cutting my larger cables, like the 8 gauge Anchor wire, which is the duplex wire. I use it for anything large. It gives it a very clean cut, and it seems to be holding up pretty well. So I'll put the links, again, I'll put the links in for all this stuff in the description down below. Okay, so those are the basic things I use for stripping wire, crimping wire, and basically that's the primary thing you're doing when you're installing stuff. You're crimping, you're stripping it back, you're crimping it, and then you're going to heat shrink it. Okay, now I've got another pair of strippers I just bought, And these are very similar to ones that I used to use at Union Carbide. Don't want to date myself, but back in the late 80s, okay? And what you do is you put your wire in on the end here and pull it, and it strips it off pretty much automatically. It automatically adjusts the size. Again, it won't do your 8 gauge. You adjust it to the depth you want here with the settings on the below. And it's very nice. I haven't tried that yet, but I'll work them out in the future. So that's the next thing. When you get your wires ready after you've done the crimping and installing, actually, let me show you something next. Okay. So the next thing to do is when I have these, here we go, heat shrink connectors. I use a heat shrink gun. I know a lot of you guys may have a lighter. I don't have lighters. You may use a butane torch or something like that. I just prefer using the heat gun. It gives me a lot more control over it. This one's, I think, 1600 watts. It's pretty strong. It's going on 7 years now. 0 issues other than I got one little dent right here. You can see that. And that's from me dropping it. And I got a mark on my arm, and it's probably got a little extra skin on this thing. This thing is just a really, really handy tool. The nice thing is you don't tend to overheat or burn. Now, you can definitely melt wires with this thing. I've done that a couple times if you get it too close. All I have to do is have a little patience, and that works great. Okay, so that's another indispensable tool for me. Okay. So I'll get into some wire. Actually, let's do the wire cutters next. Okay, I got 2 different wire cutters. These are both Kleins. Okay, and this one is just a smaller size. This is a larger size. Okay, this is good for cutting the power cables because you're cutting a bigger wire. This is good for cutting the individual wires in the power cable. Okay, so 2 different sizes. You can probably get by. I got by with this pair for, I don't know, I think I've had this pair for about 30 years. The jaws finally wore out. You look at it, you can probably see through them. So I use this and these 2. So again, I use 3 different cutters. You can probably get by with 1 cutter, but that cutter that comes in that big kit is really, really handy. Okay. So now that we've done our wires, we crimped them, cut them, stripped them, and heat shrink them. Now when you start putting them in together, this tool is probably one of the best $15 to $20 I've spent. Okay, it's a zip tie tool. Okay, let me see if you can see a little bit better in the camera here. There it is. Okay, so what you do is you put your zip tie in the bottom here. You crimp it up. When you're ready, when you got it tight, you just pop it here and it cuts it flush pretty much. Okay, this thing has saved me so much time, especially sometimes you'll get a zip tie and you're putting a cable up inside a locker or some weird place that you can't reach well, you just slide this in there, get the end in there, and then you can crank it in. And then once you get it tight, then you can cut it right off. Really, really good tool. In fact, after I got this, when I was rigging the boat down at Angler's Choice originally, I was showing the new tech down there. He liked this tool so much, he was raving about how great it was. So I said, hey, I'll give you one. I just gave it to him, and he loves that thing. So anyway, so this is a really good tool. It's one of those fun little tools you don't think you need until you get one. So okay, so those are the basic hardware tools. Now, when you get into, after you got it all put together and tested, now we are actually starting to test it. So now what you want to do is you want to get a good voltmeter. This is a Fluke. No, sorry, this is a Klein. I used to have a Fluke. I actually won that at a convention years ago when I was still in electrical engineering area. But this is a Klein tool. The nice thing is it auto ranges. It does everything for you. You really don't need one as nice as this. This one also has capacitance, so I can start looking at noise and things like that. What I'll do is I'll try to locate an equivalent Klein lower end. This is about a $60, $70 meter. I'll put the link for this in the description as well, but I'll also find another Klein that's a lower end, which is a little bit more appropriate for most guys. They're just going to do this 1 or 2 times. Okay, but it's always handy to have a voltmeter. You need it to be able to read minimal about 42 to 45 volts, and the reason is that if you get your trolling motor batteries charged, especially if they're lithium, they may read a little bit higher, and then when you put them in series, you're going to read way over 36 volts. So get something that leads. Most of the scales will probably go. Sorry, it's cold out here again. It'll go up to about 48 volts. So, but I'll put one in the description for you. It's an indispensable tool. The other thing you can do is you can use it to check for shorts, check for continuity, and basic continuity says, hey, is this actually connected to that? So very, very handy. It'll save you a lot of time and trouble, just having a very simple meter. The other option to that is, let's see if I can get this thing out of the box, is this Ansel. It's an Ansel test probe. Some of you car guys may already have that. You just connect it on your battery, and you can use that to check your voltages, check for grounds, check for ground faults, check for power, things like that. Another optional tool. Again, you may already have that, which is great. So that's another option you got. And if we go back in my top box here, okay, I've got two more things. These tools, actually I got three things. This is a battery tester, okay? And this battery tester, basically you just hook it on your battery. It'll tell you the life of the battery, the type of the battery, and things like that. It's very, very handy. It's just a real simple tool, okay? I use it occasionally, but I use the voltmeter more so. The other thing is if you're dealing with noise on your system, and I'll show you this in an upcoming video, if the weather ever gets better and my arm gets better, I'll get out on the water and do it. This is an EMF tester, okay? And what it does is it measures the electromagnetic field around items, okay? It's pretty handy for when you're having to debug a problem with your electrical noise on the boat, okay? So, something what I would consider an optional tool, but it's something that I've used quite a bit. So, the other thing, if you're having heat issues, like on that Skeeter, I saw that by mounting the active target module inside that small locker, created a lot of heat. I was actually using this thermal imaging gun, which is a Klein. I'm sure you can get one that's a little bit cheaper, but I'll put the link in that. This is just a good quality one. So it'll shoot the beam on there and measure it. Now, it's also handy if you got issues with your hubs on your trailer. You can shoot the temperature on your trailer to see if there's anything rubbing incorrectly, okay? Another little tool. So now let's get into one more item, and this is something you really need to get for screwing into it. I use a DeWalt. I know everybody has their own favorite brand. This is DeWalt. This has a 2 amp hour battery on it. The nice thing about this time of year, you can get decent kits fairly cheap, like $100 or less. Or if you've got 2 in a kit, you may get it for, not much more than that. So that's something that's very handy. The thing you really want to have is the ability to control the torque settings. So when you get near the end of, when it's getting tight in the glass, you want to have it basically clutching out for you, okay? So that's another piece. And probably the last item I want to cover is I can never have enough light. If you look at my setup here, you might see a little glare over here from this light. There's another light over here. I just need a light nowadays. What I use is I use these little lights here. Got them on Amazon. Just push the button to the side, they come on. They're pretty handy. Flashing mode doesn't do a whole lot for me. So that's one, but I recently got this one as well. And this one, the thing I like about this, it operates on a stand. You can rotate the lights, turn them on and off. This is pretty handy. Again, just get yourself a good light. I mean, the old style is using the old drop lights. Well, drop lights are gone these days. These are perfect for what you need it for. So anyway, I think I've covered most of the tools I use for the basic stuff. I've got a lot of other specialty tools I use. If you're drilling into glass, certain ways you want to drill into it and tape the holes, things like that. I also have like a DeWalt toolkit down here. I'm not gonna pick it up; it'll kill me. But there's a lot of little things you probably already have. But those first items I showed you, the specialty wire crimping, stripping items, those are probably what you don't have. And again, those are tools that I'm recommending that have been working for me for quite a while now without fail. They're not wearing out. I use them almost daily, and they're just really good tools. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Again, all the links, I'll try to put all the links I can find down in the description. There will be Amazon affiliate links, okay? There's a chance if you buy something through that link, I'll get a commission if I ever meet these minimums. But I'd appreciate that's a great way to help the channel. If you like the video, please like the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And I thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.